Once upon a time, in a quiet little village surrounded by rolling hills and whispering forests, there lived a man known far and wide for his laziness. The villagers called him Raghav, though many joked that lazy Raghav suited him better. He was so unwilling to work that he often dreamt of food magically appearing before him without lifting a finger. While others toiled under the sun, sowing seeds or tending to cattle, Raghav would lie under a tree, gazing at the clouds and wishing for a miracle. One warm afternoon, driven by hunger and his usual unwillingness to work, Raghav decided to wander into the countryside in search of something to eat. After walking for hours, he came upon a beautiful apple tree, its branches heavy with ripe red fruit glistening under the golden light. His mouth watered instantly. "Ah, how lucky I am," he thought, rubbing his hands together. Finally, food without effort. But just as he reached up to pluck an apple, a loud voice thundered from behind. The farmer who owned the tree had spotted him. "Hey, what are you doing with my apples?" The farmer's shout sent chills down Raghav's spine. In panic, he dropped the apple and bolted, his legs trembling as he sprinted toward the forest. Deeper and deeper he ran until the farmer's voice faded away, and all he could hear was his own heavy breathing. Lost and exhausted, Raghav slumped down on a rock to catch his breath. The forest around him was thick, and wild birds chirped from hidden branches, and the air smelled of moss and damp earth. As he sat there, something strange caught his eye. Not far from him lay a wolf, but unlike any wolf he had ever seen. This one had only 2 legs. Its hind legs were missing, yet it was alive. It lay quietly near a bush, its eyes calm and watchful. Raghav was astonished. How can this creature survive? He thought. In such a dangerous forest, where food is scarce and predators lurk everywhere, how can a crippled wolf live without being eaten or starving to death? As he pondered this mystery, a sound of movement rustled through the leaves. To his horror, a lion emerged from the shadows, its golden mane shimmering in the fading sunlight. Raghav's heart pounded. He scrambled up a nearby tree, clinging to the branches, too afraid to even breathe. From his hiding place, he watched as the lion approached the injured wolf. It held a large piece of meat in its jaws. Raghav expected a brutal attack, but to his utter astonishment, the lion simply dropped the meat in front of the wolf, gave a deep growl as if in farewell, and walked away into the forest. The wolf sniffed the meat, wagged its tail weakly, and began to eat. Raghav's eyes widened in disbelief. "Incredible," he whispered. "Even the beasts of the jungle are cared for. God himself must be feeding this helpless wolf through the lion. Truly, divine mercy provides for every creature." His heart swelled with hope. If God can feed a crippled wolf, surely he will provide for me too. Why should I worry? All I must do is wait, and food will come to me. So, inspired by what he thought was a heavenly sign, Raghav decided to sit beneath a tree and wait. He waited all day, but nothing came. Night fell, the forest grew cold, and his stomach groaned. Still, he waited. The next day he waited again, thirsty, weak, and hungry. Hours turned into days, but no one came to feed him. His faith began to waver, and his strength drained away. By the 3rd day, Raghav could no longer bear it. Starving and miserable, he rose to his feet and began walking aimlessly through the forest. At last, he came upon a sage, an old man with eyes full of wisdom and peace. The sage saw Raghav's pitiful state and offered him some food. After eating gratefully, Raghav told him the whole story about the wolf, the lion, and how he had waited for divine help that never came. The sage listened quietly and then smiled. "My son," he said gently, "it is true that God has a plan for every creature, but you have misunderstood the lesson. God did not want you to be like the wolf, waiting helplessly for others to feed you. He wanted you to learn from the lion." Raghav frowned. "From the lion?" "Yes," the sage said. "The lion is strong, courageous, and generous. He works for his food and shares it with others. The wolf survived because the lion took action. You see, God helps those who help themselves and those who help others. To sit idle and wait is not faith, it is folly. True faith lies in using the strength and wisdom that God has already given you. Raghov lowered his head in shame. He finally understood. The wolf was not the hero of the story. The lion was. That night, he returned to his village, a changed man. From then on, he worked hard, helped others, and lived with purpose. And whenever someone asked him what made him change, he would smile and say, "I learned that God feeds the wolf through the lion, and I chose to be the lion."